Hey guys, welcome back to The Stuff of Legend. My name is D'Lo, and I've got another video for you. We're going to be talking about the latest X-Men Children of the Atom comic that just dropped a trailer. Now, I haven't read the comics yet, but there's a lot of people that, like me, are not going to. So we're going to talk about that in just 1 second. Let's go ahead and switch the screen. Just got to give my COVID to you guys real quick. Hang on. I wanted to say thank you to everybody who's been buying t-shirts, mugs, sweaters, and all that stuff that I sell on my merch store. I really appreciate you guys. You guys have been keeping me going. I really appreciate you guys. 1 sec. Wow, what a way to intro the video, huh? Anyway, you guys are the best. Thank you so much for everyone who's made those purchases. It means a lot to me. I wanted to show you guys my background, but I've been shifting some stuff around in my garage, and so I decided to throw the green screen up, make a fun little display for you guys for the visual, and yeah, because it's kind of a mess back there. So in the meantime, we're just gonna rock with some green screen. That way you guys can have something decent-ish to look at. I know this is a little bit chaotic, so I'm going to switch the screen right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Children of the Atom today. Children of the Atom. So this name was borrowed from an X-Men video game, and of course, you know, the Atom being the mutant X gene. The whole concept of the X-Men is based on the theory of evolution, which is commonly taught in schools, even though it's a theory. In my opinion, it's a racist theory. But it's very interesting because there's a lot of people that are going off of Children of the Atom trailer and going really hard against it. A lot of negative comments, a lot of discussion happening about it. And I think you'll see why. I may not play the entire... In fact, I think I might play the whole thing. But I want to pause and take breaks as I go along so that we can talk about and discuss kind of what they say, what they show, and then what we can deduce from this. There really isn't a lot of originality. I think you guys will see this. It's kind of like Star Wars Episode 7 literally being basically a carbon copy of A New Hope, Star Wars Episode 4, just bigger, shinier, newer, gender bent, you know, whatever. And so I think you guys are going to see kind of what I'm seeing here. Let's go ahead and just take a look. Give it some volume. All right. Hang on 1 sec. Wow. My audio is not coming through. Hang on 1 second. Okay. Ah, well, it's probably for the best. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and show you guys what is going on in this trailer. They've introduced 5 new characters. Now, they say new, they say original, but I don't see anything original or new really about it except for some gender bending. And they're basically Zoomers. So a generation after, I think it's like 1997-ish to the mid-early 2010s. So like 2005, 1995 to 2005, I think it is. I have the information here. But these guys are basically the new generation. And what the writers of Children of the Atom were intending, yeah, see, look, what age range are Zoomers? Gen Z is the newest generation, and that's what they're referring to. So Zoomers are Gen Z between 1997 and 2012 to 15-ish. And basically those people right now are 6 to 24 years old. If you are between 6 and 24 years old, you are a Zoomer. You are in this generation that they're trying to target with this new comic book adaptation. What she says here is that these guys are the new sidekicks for the X-Men. I'm having a bit of a difficult time trying to get the audio through here, so I apologize for that. I'm just going to continue talking instead of playing the video. Maybe that's for the best. Maybe they would have tried to take it down or something. But looking right here at the comics, you can clearly see this is supposed to be Cyclops, or a Cyclops-like character. What you may not have deduced is the character on the left is supposed to be like a male ripoff of Jean Grey, a big buff male character, but they have the same powers. So every single person in this shot is a total ripoff of another person from the X-Men, and it's not hard to determine why. I can show you this article, but just to give you a little bit of character context, I mean, this is what we're looking at. Cherub is a copy of Angel, and he's literally, I think, the sidekick, supposedly, of one of the X-Men. You can see here, even on this Marvel fandom wiki, you can see that, where did it go? He has the abilities here, powers in flight. He's got flight with aid of a power suit. So instead of having wings, he's got a power suit for flight. But he also has acoustic kinesis, which is he has the ability to fire off sound blasts. I guess you could kind of consider that similar to the way that either Banshee does it, or perhaps even similar to how Cyborg's sonic cannon in DC Comics works, where it's sound, but it's a blast of sound. Sonic blast. So in the same way, acoustic kinesis, he's able to fire off sound blasts. So this guy is like Angel, but without the healing factor, without the wings, but a flight suit. And they call him Cherub, which again is synonymous for Angel. It's another name for an angelic creature. Now, the other character rips are Beatrice Bartholomew. I think this one might be the most just blatant and direct, but her power is she can shoot red beams from her eyes, aided with a visor apparatus. It's the same scenario as Scott Summers' Cyclops. They call her Buddy, but she is also she gets the almost the exact same costume, just swapped gender, right? So she's pretty much, it's just female Cyclops. In fact, her hero name is Cyclops Lass with a dash. So instead of just Cyclops, it's Cyclops Lass. Or they could have gone with Cyclops Lady, or Cyclops Chick, or One-Eyed Chick, or, you know, like they could have gone with a number of things. They could have called her Monocle if they wanted. That'd be really funny if her name was Monica and she went by Monocle. That'd be really funny. I might even appreciate that. Cyclops Lass just feels really clunky to me. It doesn't roll off the tongue. I think it's a weak name and not a lot of creativity. In fact, it literally just uses the name Cyclops and the costume of Cyclops, just gender bent with, I guess, light blue colors instead of a harder blue or a red or navy blue. But it uses the same belt style. It uses that same like over the shoulder and neck Y-shaped belt band with the X-Men logo. It's the same thing. So we've got female Cyclops. Let me go back to the team. We got Cherub, which is supposed to be Archangel's new replacement. Not replacement, but sidekick. We have Cyclops Lass, female Cyclops sidekick. Daycrawler. This one was very interesting to me, is that, you know, like Cyclops has, I call him Ninja Turtle hands, where he's got the 3-fingered appendages, the 2-finger toes, except for he's also got like a back grip on the toe, like a backwards foot toe. Really weird for prehensile grabbing. And he also has a tail. Blue skin, fur, pointy ears, sharp teeth. They call him an elf, like they may basically make him akin to a creature. What's weird about Daycrawler, not just the name being a dumb, like, Nightcrawler is an actual creature, right? Like, it's a worm. A Nightcrawler in real life, not in the comics, is a worm. But a Daycrawler isn't one. Daycrawler is just a word that's a word play, a pun, from the name Nightcrawler. It's the opposite of day is night. The opposite of night is day. They call him Daycrawler. He's like the apprentice of Nightcrawler because he also has teleportation. He's able to teleport. Every time he teleports, he produces a bamf sound. So what this tells us, when Nightcrawler goes bamf, it's because he's opening a portal to a hellish dimension, transporting through that dimension and puffing out the other side with another hole. This tells us that he's using the exact same method. Otherwise, like if it was a technological teleportation, it might beep, it might blip, it might glitch. Blink is another teleporting character in the X-Men comics and does not make a bamf sound as far as I'm aware. I believed it was only Nightcrawler. So this guy apparently gets the exact same powers as Nightcrawler, minus the prehensile tail. But what's weird is this. Right here. In costume, Daycrawler has similar appendages to Nightcrawler. He has only 3 digits. 1, 2, 3. That's actually a lot harder than it looks. See if you can do that. And then switch hands. He has only 3 digits, meaning 3 fingers, including an opposable thumb on each hand. And then it says he also has only 2 toes on each foot, each longer than an ordinary human's, though in civilian gear, Jay has regular human features. Okay, so this to me it's really weird because they don't clarify whether or not it's an illusion. Like, for instance, Nightcrawler has, I call him Ninja Turtle hands, but he's got those hands, he's got the feet that they just described, but he also has a tail, and that does not change. He can't change that, doesn't turn off. That's his curse. His mutant ability made him that way. But in the X-Men Evolution TV series, he was given an illusion machine. So he would wear this like on his belt or something, and it would cast a projection illusion to make him look like a human. Although when people touched him, they could feel his fur, or his tail would bump into people even though they couldn't see it. He still would walk around and it looked like human hands doing this, but at least it looked like 5 fingers on each hand, or 4 fingers and a thumb on each hand, just separated like this, doing the like Star Trek or, you know, like whatever. It looked that way, but it wasn't that way. So what's weird about the notes here is that it's telling us that while the guy Jay is in his costume, he has those fingers. He's got Ninja Turtle hands. He's got the feet, but no tail. He's not an elf. He's just weird. And then when he's in human clothes, when he's in ordinary civilian gear, he has regular human features. They don't clarify whether or not that is due to some sort of like machine giving an illusion. They're saying, at least right here, and I could be wrong because I haven't read the book, that it just is magically different when he just wears normal clothes. He puts on O'Neill and all of a sudden he's like, hey dude, what's up? Like full 5 fingers, what up? Changes into a superhero costume and his fingers just like absorb into each other. It's not only lazy, it makes no sense. Is it part of his powers or not? Because apparently his only power is teleportation and weird prehensile fingers that do and do not exist at convenient times, right? So it's like, does he have like the power of convenience and I don't know, likability? I don't know what his other unspoken powers are, but from this list, it doesn't sound like it makes a lot of sense. I think it's lazy. And it doesn't, and they're just trying to make him close to Nightcrawler just without the blue fur. They wanted him to specifically look Asian, probably didn't want to put a lot of fur on him. To like, I don't know, it might look like they were trying to disparage an Asian guy or something. I don't know. I don't even know if he's Asian. He just looks kind of Asian here, so who knows? They don't give us a surname. They just say Jay. So Jay could be anything. Benny is his brother. I don't think I've ever met a Hispanic Benny personally, but I have met plenty of, I've actually met 2 Asian Bennies in my life, and I've met 1 Asian Jay, and I've met a billion Hispanic Jays. So this is just confusing to me. I have no idea because his relative brother is Benny. So I'm just trying to get a feel for what he's supposed to be. These people at Marvel are very obsessed with race. All they want to talk about is race and gender and oppression. Now, what's funny about it is that you can't hear the audio, but I linked the description. I linked the video in the description so you could check it out. She actually talks about, because they're younger, they're not in the past. They're not dealing with prevalent anti-mutant hysteria like they were in the past. It's now everything is a little bit more diverse. So now the issues that they face are different. They're not the same. So they're actually stoked. People are stoked about their powers. So I guess they're celebrated more. But then she goes on to mention how they're oppressed. And then even Cyclops lass gets quoted here. Her first issue quote is, "What I am is not a gross, small-minded bigot." It sounds like she's speaking defensively. Maybe she was talking to someone she thought was like bigoted or something like that. But it just sounds like these people are just easily offended and triggered. And again, that's not something that people generally like. It's not fun. It's not warm. It's not positive. It's not flexible. There's no sense of humor there, right? If someone says something that's a little bit absurd, racist, or just, I don't know, like, if they say like something, for instance, that is, tone deaf, there's no grace there, and it's no like flexibility to like banter back and forth to play and just see like, if you were unsure, maybe they didn't mean it. People who assume ill intent right out the gate, those people are usually not fun at parties. It's just not fun to be around those people, right? Don't assume that kind of intent out of the gate. That's like the Brie Larson Wired interview, right? Brie Larson in the Wired interview was like, is that some kind of personal attack or something? It's like, she's reading off a board that just says, does Brie Larson work out? She's like, is that some kind of personal attack or something? Like, just assuming that you're mocking her. It's like, maybe someone was just trying to figure out her workout routine, right? It's just a Google search. But anyway, so that seems to me like what we're digging in here. And it doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound fun to me. Daycrawler, again, this one might be the most egregious. No, actually the next one is. I didn't even show you guys Gimmick yet. Gimmick, okay. So Carmen, otherwise known as Gimmick, which if you haven't figured out from the look yet, it's race bent, gender bent Gambit, right? So Gambit, meaning, you know, like it's a risk, it's something that you can gamble, but gimmick is like another word for, it's like not a trick, but it's something that, it's something that makes you stand out, something, and it can be referred to as like trick. I might as well just show you guys the thesaurus on this. Watch this. Yeah, there's like a bunch of like weird tactical maneuver stuff, drawback, twist, device, catch, doodad. That's kind of fun. No, those are synonyms. I wanted a thesaurus. I guess that is synonym. I bet you Gambit thesaurus is gonna. No. Oh, but it does have maneuver though. So I guess that has that in common. Tactical maneuver. So, you know, that's something that they both have in common. Basically, there's shared synonyms, and the costume is almost identical, right? Except for instead of having like a brown coat, hers is, I guess, gray or white or something. They just did slight color alterations, but the powers are the same. Molecular acceleration, I think, potential energy manipulation, I think, is what they put down for Gambit, but it has the exact same effect as you see here. Or no, it's kinetic energy, not potential. Carmen has the power to take the potential energy stored in an object and convert it to kinetic energy, thus charging the item with explosive results. That's what it was. So that's exactly what Gambit has. It's female Gambit, right? So like, one of the things they boast in the trailer, I don't think I'm getting any audio through here. I apologize for that. I was messing with my setup and I apparently didn't fix it. So, but anyway, they basically talk about how they have all new characters, but then they go ahead and show this. And look, if you thought I was kidding about their exact carbon copy clones of each other, look, they laid it out for you right here. Even like the similarities on the costume for Jean Grey's eyes here, like the eye pattern that goes up like this, they did that except for in helmet. Instead of just the mask, no helmet, they did like this, so that's the lens that you see through instead of the mask that covers, right? They just inverted that, and they kept the same colors, yellow and green, right? So yellow and green for Marvel Girl, it's Marvel Guy, right? So let me see if I can find Marvel Guy. Here he is, Benny. So That's it right here. And he has the same thing. He's a telepath, just like Jean Grey. The only thing is, I don't think he has telekinesis at this time. Maybe he'll grow into that. But look, even the notes here, both his name and powers, Marvel guys, obviously patterned after Marvel Girl Jean Grey, one of the original X-Men. Look, I'm just saying, if your powers and your name are modeled after an existing primary X-Men character, it's not that original. Like, maybe there should be some originality, something that is not already existing, being put forth as the new characters, right? If you're going to call it a new character, you're going to call it original content. You made something totally new. Maybe it should be totally new. I mean, it's a novel concept, but it would be nice to have a novel concept. So, again, I'll go over these guys for you just because my audio for the trailer is not working. I apologize for all the hiccups this video, but I will get those corrected because you guys deserve the best. I ought to give it to you. I will. Next time. so we got Children of the Atom. Here's the characters. It's Cherub, who is Gabe. That's an angel copy. We have Cyclops lass, but Beatrice Bartholomew, otherwise known as Buddy. That is clearly, even in the name, Cyclops copy. Just gender bent. We have Daycrawler, which is, you guessed it, a carbon copy of Nightcrawler, just without the tail, without the blue fur, but apparently has a lot more in common, even with the X-Men Evolution specific version of Kurt Wagner Nightcrawler. Oh, and by the way, what they say about his personality is that he is very excitable and must sometimes be told to calm or slow down by his teammates. They did that all the time to Nightcrawler in X-Men Evolution. It's literally the same guy. So, like, personality-wise, everything, it's just, here he is, another Nightcrawler. And next is female Gambit. They don't say anything about her personality, only that she's currently dating Gabe, which is the Angel carbon copy. But it's just another Gambit. So, another Gambit, another Jean Grey, except for apparently muscular dude, I think. Benny. Actually, yeah, it says Marvel guy, which implies dude. Looks like a dude. Just, I haven't seen his face yet, so you just never know with these new Marvel writers what they're actually doing here. And yeah, that's it. That's all it is. I mean, I want to read for you just a little bit more from. I want to read you some from this CBR article, so you guys can see what's going on. This article is by Timothy Donahue. Children of the Atom. Who's who on Marvel's new young X-Men team? And I'll give you his perspective. You guys have already heard mine. I'll give you this perspective now, so you guys can get another angle at this. Oh, and I guess they're on sale now too. The X-Men have had spin-off teams, namely ones filled with younger mutants, ever since the franchise began expanding in the 1980s. These included the New Mutants, New Mutants and Generation X, both of which contained now classic mutants, still appear in the franchise to this day. With a few notable exceptions, like the New Mutants Magic and Generation X's Jubilee, these teams were populated by original characters without any real ties to the main team. But things are different for Marvel's newest young X-Men team. I'm going to need my glasses. Very hard for me to read at this distance. All right, so it says here. That's a little bit better right there. In the long-delayed Children of the Atom #1, readers are introduced to a new team of mutants, one very similar to the Young Avengers. That group had young heroes who heavily resembled mainstream adult members of the Avengers, with their costumes and sometimes questionable names bearing uncanny resemblances. The young X-Men all offer new takes on classic X-Men characters and archetypes, albeit all in the shadow of the political upheaval of Krakoa. Now, we're taking a closer look at who is all on the new squad. Basically, they're saying Young Avengers is a total rip of the regular Avengers. I completely agree. There is a little bit more originality with the powers and the characters that are in the Young Avengers to a degree. Like, Kate Bishop is just another trained assassin, another trainee of Clint Barton. It's just Hawkeye female, that's totally gender bent. It's just a tokenized version of Hawkeye. Same thing with, for instance, Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver. They're the twins of Scarlet Witch and Vision, carbon copies of her and her brother. No difference at all. They're just siblings. Same dynamic as siblings, just two boys instead of a boy and a girl. There's a little bit of a relationship difference, though, being that they were technically brought into the world and separated in different families, and they kind of have different backgrounds, had to discover each other. So like there's a little bit of, there's a cool story that kind of brings them together in that way. And I can't speak to the stories behind these guys because I don't know the stories behind these guys. Maybe it would be good. Maybe it'll be awesome. They did say in the trailer that there would be originality towards specifically the histories, the backgrounds, the families. I don't know if that means they're going to be directly related to a lot of the people. If they're directly related to these people that they're here, like if this is Cyclops' daughter, long lost or something, or maybe like a niece or a granddaughter from the future or something. I don't know what it is. But like if it's something like that, and I think we're going to find out right now, you know, there could be an interesting way to do that, but to me, it just, again, it feels a little bit lazy, especially because some of the most interesting family connections that we have are like, for instance, Magneto to his daughter and his son. They have different powers. The mutant X gene doesn't mean you're going to get the same powers in the next generation. It just means that you're going to you can have powers if that X gene is not dormant, right? Or once it awakens, then you get the powers, but you get your own powers. You are an individual. In many cases, that is not the case. In many cases, the powers are similar. Scott Summers has similar powers to his brother. Alex Summers, Jean Grey and Cyclops have a daughter, or multiple, I guess technically, like there's multiple iterations of their kid. But they have kids, and almost all of their kids end up having Jean Grey's powers. Which to me is like, it does feel a little bit lazy. Like I don't like when that happens very often. I don't mind it too much if the stories told are good, and I don't know what the stories are for this one. I'm getting a little bit tired. It's almost like Super Smash Bros, right? How many times are we going to be excited about a new sword character in Super Smash Brothers, right? It's the same. Almost every third DLC is another sword character, and it's like, can we please get something a little bit more original and unique? You know, that would just it'd be nice to have that different kind of thing. But this one, no, they said no originality whatsoever. In fact, the only thing that's original is we're going to make it so that these guys are so modern. It's like they're running Instagram pages. They got a workout page on Instagram. One of them's a Redditor. One of them's subredditing. One of, they're like, these guys are just internet savvy. And it's like, okay, like, but that's not special. Like we're all like, a lot of us are out here doing that kind of thing. Like that's not that, if that's like what you're banking it on, it just sounds a little bit superficial. You could find a way, like I said, you could make anything interesting if you execute it well. So I'm not saying that it's automatically going to be stupid. It just sounds kind of stupid at the get-go. So let me give it a little bit of grace and just keep reading. Beatrice from Cyclops Lass. Beatrice Buddy Bartholomew is Cyclops Lass, the field leader of the group. So again, Cyclops is the leader. Cyclops Lass is the leader. Okay, so no change there. As her name would suggest, she has the same powers as Cyclops. No kidding. Though she seems to only need the visor to aim her eyes and can what? Though she seems to only need the visor to aim her eye beams and can operate without it. So she doesn't even need it? That sucks. Cyclops fully 100% needs it. That's why he has it. Otherwise, he wouldn't use it. Like, I think it's maybe just because, like, the blast is so, like, encompassing. But that was Cyclops' thing. He hit his head. He got a concussion, so he can't control it. His brother could control it. His brother did also have a suit for channeling. But, I mean, at the same time, it's like, if she can use without it, like, why even mention this? If she can operate without it, maybe it would be, I don't know why they do what they do. It just, I have so many questions I want answered. She's obsessed with the X-Men and mutant rights. Okay. I mean, that's actually been something that is interesting, because in the trailer, the writer mentions that they're not being discriminated against at this point. Like, they're past the hate of mutants for the most part. I wonder if mutant rights is just like a political activism like they have now, like where people say like, oh, we're fighting for women's rights, but they have all the rights. They have all the same rights as men. Even they actually have protections more than men for in many cases. And so like the people that are like, oh, we're for women's rights, like everyone's for women's rights, you have them. But then they're like, no, we're fighting for this, right? They say like one, for instance, there's the abortion argument. Not trying to get too political here, but they say, oh, it's a women's issue. And it's like, but why do half the women vote against it? Right? It's like, you look at statistics, it's like 50% are this way, 50% are this way. How could you say it's a women's issue if half of them don't want it, right? It's like half do, half don't. So then it's like, okay, is it a woman's right, or is that just a political issue that we can all talk about? And they're like, no, you can't talk. The ones who are for it say, no, you can't talk about it unless you're for it, right? Which is convenient. But it's like, I wonder if they're just going in this direction, because it's Marvel. Marvel has been really political lately, and it sounds like activism, human rights, healthcare and all this stuff is like human right. And it's like, okay, like it sounds like they're going to get really political. It sounds like that's what they're trying to hit with this. And I don't expect anything less, frankly, especially from the last comic book trailer that we did from Marvel. Also from Star Wars, they've been doing that too. So pretty much everything under the Disney banner has become about activism and that sort of thing. So I would expect that that's probably where they're going with this, especially if she's supposed to be the leader. Enough ranting. I'm going to read from right here. Archiving historical material about the team. The first issue reveals that her mother is dead. That sucks. But that's also something that she has in common with Cyclops. So no difference there. Leaving her with a father who's loving but distant towards his own daughter. Okay, so hang on. That's the same backstory as freaking Cyclops. Cyclops' dad, he's like a space pirate. He thought he was dead. He thought he lost both of his parents, but his dad was really out in space and just became like basically a Yondu. I'm forgetting his name right now. I think he became the leader of the Starjammers. His name will hopefully come back to me soon. I just haven't talked about him in a really long time. But I think they literally gave her the same backstory as Cyclops, who she's modeled after, who she's dressed after. She wears the same eye gear. It's like, I thought you said this was supposed to be original. Like, that's the same basic outline of Cyclops' situation with his parents. All right, let's go to the next one. Let's try again. Gimmick. Gimmick's real name is Carmen, and she's Buddy's best friend. Oh, that's cool. We're friends. That's nice. Her powers allow her to charge and explode inanimate objects like Gambit does. We already know. And her costume is based on his. We already know as well. She's also a bit more down to earth than Buddy, and is typically the voice of reason when it comes to her friends' flights of fancy. Interesting. Flights of fancy. She also creates the costumes for the team, which were initially simply made to be worn for Halloween. Oh, yeah, I forgot. She's the cosplayer. So of the group, she's the cosplayer. She makes the costume. So she made their superhero suits, which is pretty cool, except for I think if there's supposed to be any functionality with the eyewear for Cyclops lass, then that to me, I think she's probably going to have to get some assistance for that one. Like, what are you going to make that? I mean, do you just go to a cosplay store and get ruby quartz lenses and go to like, just go down to the street to your local mall and find that like, find the eyeglass frame store and just get that and put ruby quartz lenses in there. Like, you just going to make that yourself? Like, you might be able to. I'm not saying you can't. It's just saying it's a little bit of a stretch. Most cosplay stuff is not functional, even if you're good. You have to be like one of those legends that makes the freaking Iron Man suits that not only light up but shoot something. That's pretty legendary. And if they're saying she's that, then she's probably got millions of followers. So, or hundreds of thousands maybe. Okay, I can give her, I'll give her character a pass because to me, this one sounds a little bit more unique because above, even with the activism thing or being like for mutant rights, so was Cyclops. He was fighting, he's the leader of the team fighting for mutant and human coexistence, right? That was human rights. That's like original feminism, right? That's true feminism was fighting for equal rights, true rights, actually legal equality. But nowadays we have man-hating activists who just like to scream and yell and wear nothing in the street and that sort of stuff. And it's different. I'm not saying that they're not as excited as they were back then or as passionate, but back then there was goals. And here nowadays it just seems to be like unguided frustration. And with not a lot of specific evidence to what might be causing that. It's just outrage pretty much nowadays because they already got the rights. They're just raging. This seems a little bit more unique. I will say though that Gambit is usually like the more like worldly on the team because he was a thief, mon ami. He was a thief. He was a scoundrel, kind of still is. And, so he likes to have fun. He likes to push the limits on the team, sort of in the same way sorry, that wasn't your phone. That was mine. Wow, that's funny. Let me turn that garbage down. That way we don't get any more. Okay. And yeah, I mean, I think that she's probably in the same way likes to break the rules a little bit, same as Gambit. Although you could do that a number of different ways with this one. It just seems like, okay, she's like the Boy Scout or the Girl Scout for her cause. And that's the same thing as Cyclops. And for her, she likes to see other people have fun. And that sounds enjoyable. So I kind of like where that's leaning a little bit, even though Cyclops is one of my favorites. I don't think that Cyclops glass is going to do it for me though. All right, Marvel guy. Let's check it out. Look at this picture. Looks like a beetle. The team's resident psychic is Benny, aka Marvel Guy. His name, powers, and green-yellow costume make him a stand-in for Marvel Girl, which has become a codename Jean Grey, which was the codename Jean Grey used in the early days of the team. And today, he not only has mental abilities such as mind control, but also telekinetic powers. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so wait, why does it jump to he? It was talking right here about Jean Grey. And then cuts back to he. Maybe that's just like a grammatical error. I thought you were supposed to put the comma when you go back. He was talking about Marvel Guy. Then he goes to Marvel Girl. Oh no, he comes back here, which was the code name Jean Grey used in the early days. And today, Marvel Guy not only has mental abilities such as mind control, but also telekinetic powers. He's apparently in love with teammate Gabe and is jealous of the bond that Gabe and Carmen have. Okay, so he's LGBTQ. And so this is where they have, that Marvel is all about everyone has to be represented in every single way. Like whatever you're into, they want to try to shove that in there. Except unless you're like in any way conservative, old-fashioned, like they try to go to the progressive extremes. They're trying to do those things. And I'm not saying that gay is extreme, but what they're doing here is just pandering, right? They're trying to check boxes. Like I said, they're just trying to get their token this, token that. It's the same thing that that the Star Wars crowd has been doing with their thing, with the not just with, like, for instance, in the movies where they're like, oh, we want to have a token Asian character that's going to be prominent, even though like they did Donnie Yen in Rogue One and everybody loved him. He was freaking awesome. But they feel like if you have to check all the boxes and then show that you checked all the boxes, otherwise you're a bad person. And it's like, well, what if you just wanted to write a good character? I think that this person Marvel guy. I don't like the name, but not just because it's like it's so close to Jean Grey's character name. It's because it's Marvel this, Marvel that, and there's already so much controversy with like DC and Marvel's, you know, going back and forth about Captain Marvel, about Shazam needing to change from Captain Marvel because Marvel wanted Marvel, and then Marvel, and then Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, you know, Marvel Girl and Miss Marvel both being for Marvel Comics, and then Marvel Guy is just, Guy is not a terrific code name, I don't think. Maybe the character is like humor oriented, I don't know. But I've never been, and this is mostly coming from like my love for Cyclops. I've never been a fan of love triangles in X-Men because it's always been about making the person that is right for the chick or for the love interest seem like a bad guy just for being in love with that person. So like this love triangle with this person being jealous of Carmen and Gabe is like it's a little bit traumatic for me because I'm like, Cyclops is right for Jean. They were married. There should never be any of this like love triangle thing going on with Wolverine. There should never be any of this stuff with, I didn't even like when Emma Frost came on the scene. I didn't appreciate that when that whole thing blew over. If Jean Grey is dead and and one of them has died and then Emma Frost comes back, that's one thing. But if she deceives him into like thinking that and it's not true, you know, like I can't get on board with that stuff. I stopped reading at that point. I'm like, dude, screw that. Sanctity of marriage. That's what I believe in. I'm old fashioned. That's why. So, Cherub. And this one, I actually do like I like the costume on this one. I just wish that maybe it was a little bit more bug oriented. It looks like a bug. I think it would be actually pretty cool if they did something like used his, actually they could even keep the telekinesis telepathy type of thing going on. Just make it so that it's a little closer to Ant-Man, where it's like he can connect not just with people, but he can connect with creatures as well. And then he ends up like becoming like some sort of, you could evolve him into becoming like Beastmaster. Like if you have a mutant that starts with a certain name because of like a power set, but then they start to grow and use it in a different way. Like they get a little bit more creative with their powers. They could take on a different persona. They could be like, you know what? I'm going to shed this, not to give another, like, I'm not trying to hit a pun for insects or anything like that, but you could literally just shed the persona and then be like, I'm going to be this now. So instead of being Robin, you could become Nightwing, right? Like he doesn't even have powers, but he just became his own guy. So if you go Marvel guy and he's like, you know what? I think it's time for a rebranding. And he's like, I'm going to become the Beastmaster, because he like all of a sudden gets really passionate. This might even be a good idea for Marvel writers. I'm going to submit this. Like, I'm not going to be totally negative about your stuff. I just have a bad first impression. Maybe I will pick it up and check it out. I don't know, but I don't think right now it doesn't sound that interesting. But Marvel guy, you could actually have him level up in that way. Like once he realizes who he is and is like, you know what? Like he starts using his powers to connect with other people, life forms around him. He can start to be like, you know what? I'm really passionate about life. Like I want to protect life. I want to, you know, like, and he gets all like upset when people crush bugs and that sort of stuff, or like, you know, an animal gets hit on the road. He's like not mad at the people, but just like, dang, I wish I could have been there to warn that deer. Like, dude, you got to move. You know what I mean? And just like have him be like that. Like he levels up into like, I'm going to be like this homeboy to all these animals. And just, I would be totally on board for that. Get like the Beastmaster, make him that guy through telepathy, right? Like, but his is unique because he can connect to animals, not just humans. That would be tight. So anyway, that's an idea. Maybe they'll go for that. I don't know. You guys can use that. I'm not going to sue or anything. Be like, that was my idea. So Cherub, the aforementioned Gabe is Cherub, a stand-in for Angel or Archangel. He plays basketball on the same team as Benny, where he has a subtle rivalry with teammate Cole. Unlike Angel, Cherub's wings seem to be almost elemental or energy-based. Okay, so the wiki didn't even mention this. So I'm glad that I'm reading this article. So that sounds nice. If it's like elemental, that basically reminds me of in Diablo. What's his name again? Tyrael. Tyrael the angel has these energetic kind of wings that come out, or it's like elemental or energy based of some kind, like a holy energy. And if that's what the wings are like, that's kind of cool. I can get down with that. I don't know why he needs the flight suit, but the mask, you know, like I think they just made the suit to make him look a little bit closer to Angel. Maybe they're trying to hide the fact that like if Angel's not there, the public still thinks he is. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's the case because they keep using the word stand-in instead of sidekick. In nature, instead of the traditional feathers, he's shown as being able to envelop himself in these wings and protect himself from harm. So he can kind of shield himself too. Interesting. I mean, that would have been nice to mention, like if they were like energy wings, right? Or like elemental wings or something like that. Allow him flight and energetic protection shielding or something like that. Man, I feel like they didn't work that hard explaining these things. I get really passionate about the X-Men. I've spent my whole life just thinking about like what could be, what we have, and I love the concept of mutants. It's so much fun. And I don't even buy into the Darwin's theory of evolution. Like I don't buy into that. To me, it's fiction. To me, this is fiction, obviously. But I just want, like, to me, that's such a fun concept. It's so much fun. And I would totally love to, like, get my hands into that and just start, like, thinking up, okay, how can we develop this? How can we grow this? What creative ways can we use this? And how can that play into the story? But I just, the trailer that they put on YouTube is just not exciting. And if you guys didn't already see, it's getting downvoted pretty hard. 2,000 likes to 38,000 dislikes. That is a lot. That's a lot of, that's a hard ratio of disapproval. And check this out. Almost all the comments, by the way. It says, as a Zoomer myself, no Marvel, this is not it. This is cringe, unoriginal, shallow, and does not represent the youth accurately at all. I agree. So I like that. It says, this is so bad. Oh, this one's not nice. This one is so bad that even Safe Space and Snowflake downvoted it. Those are the guys from Marvel's New Warriors. I believe that's the New Warriors. And I already covered that in my video. Hang on, let me refocus my camera. Come on. Okay. There we go. All right, and it says, let me make our new heroes lame and ugly. People will like that. It's probably what they were thinking. No, what they were thinking was, people love the original X-Men. Let's give them a new generation of the same thing. With good intentions, bad things happen all the time. It says, I've never seen a group of writers that are so thoroughly hated, completely ignore the fact on this level. That fact on this level, it's incredible. Interesting. I've never seen a group of writers that are so thoroughly hated, completely ignore that fact on this level. It's incredible. Yep. I've never seen people with less talent make more money. That's funny. See, to me, I don't know where they're getting these people for writing. Maybe there's just nobody writing comics right now, and this is just all they got. Like, it seems to me that character creation, that's something I love doing. Like, you can ask my wife, and I know you don't know her, so you probably won't. If you follow me on Instagram, you can probably find her. But if you were to ask my wife, like what my favorite part of playing, like for instance, games like DC Universe Online or any game that has custom character creation, it is almost always the custom character creation that I love. Like, I love making a hero. I've played the heck out of DC Universe Online so many times, making new characters, new customizations, new names, kind of writing in some backstory, and then playing them through past level 30, which is like the introductory like story mode, and then after that you get into like questing and raids and stuff raids after that. And then it's just so much fun for me to be able to like do that. You change the costume, change the look, the character editor, or like the customizer in that game is really legit. So you can do almost anything once you get enough styles. And you don't have to pay for most of them. For most of them, you just find them during your quests, or you pick up the items, beat up bad guys, and you just get that stuff over time. But it's pretty sweet. I just love that. I feel like I could do a pretty good job in a group, in a team where we've got some experienced seasoned writers, and I could just pitch ideas. Like, I bet you if 4 or 5 of us, just the fans, got together and we're like, okay, let's work out some ideas and bounce them back and forth, we might be able to come up with something a little bit stronger than this. Maybe from the character creation perspective. Not knocking the writing, because I haven't read the stories, but it just sounds like the character creation and the setup of those characters in the world of the X-Men is a little bit lazy. So anyway, it says, Chris, Vita, Marvel Comics in general are an embarrassment to humanity. Get woke or broke. I agree. Not with I don't know these people, but Marvel Comics has been wicked woke lately. Not awake. They're not really thinking here, but they seem to care about stuff they don't know a lot about quite a bit. And they are definitely losing money here. Woke writer, I got a new idea for new heroes. Or I got an idea for new heroes. Marvel goes, okay. Woke writer. So one has a TikTok, and Marvel's like, amazing. Yeah, it's hilarious. You guys got to check out this video. These characters, again, it's not terrific. Unlike Angel, Cherub's wings seem to be. I like this concept about the angelic, like the energy coming out of the back. Like when they made Spike the nephew of Storm, the first time I saw him, I think this may have been his first appearance, but he was in the it might not be his first appearance. Don't fact check me on that. First time I saw him for sure was in the X-Men Evolutions TV series, and being the nephew of Storm was a cool concept. I love Storm. Everyone loves Storm. But his powers were super, super unique. He was able to grow spikes out of his body. At first, he couldn't control that. Eventually, it turns into like bone, like armor that he, like, it kind of like protruded out of his skin to the degree that he couldn't really pull it all back. It kind of made him an outcast in that way because he couldn't hide it. But his spikes, he was able to generate and then also shoot. So it was almost like he could have Wolverine claws if he wanted to. But he could also shoot them if he wanted to, like sort of like the theory of the porcupine shooting out the spikes and stuff. So I always loved that character. It was super original, super like unique, and just fun and just really cool. But it also had detrimental effects, like where it literally made him an outcast because it was visually, it was unhideable at a certain point. And so he had to go live with the Morlocks. So like there's ways to make these things cool, fun, usable, interesting, unique, and relevant to the stories of the characters and the overarching stories of the series. It can be important, but it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be the same thing, right? It's like there's one thing you're like, oh, they were playing it safe. They went with stuff that already existed. It's like there's one thing, you can play it safe, but this isn't just safe. This is very, very, it's the same thing. This is the way that Star Wars Episode 7 rolled into the franchise as a carbon copy of Episode 4 in almost every way, except for bigger and shinier and louder. Like it's pretty much, and just renamed, but not much. So anyway, Daycrawler, we already talked about him. Jay takes on the moniker Daycrawler, possessing the same teleporting powers and sound effect as Nightcrawler. Why couldn't he have his own sound effect? Like why couldn't he have, what if they had decided that his teleporting is that a mechanical tail? Hang on. Let's just read this for a second. I think I just noticed that was a mechanical tail. He's the youngest member of the group and doesn't seem to go to the same school as the others. So far, he merely seems to be the team's resident playful trickster. In costume form, he seems to have only 3 toes and fingers on each foot and hand like his namesake, but this may simply be his Nightcrawler homaging costume. So I guess we don't know anything about what's going on there either. Right now, at least this guy doesn't. But it says the children of the atom are supposedly holding a huge secret, some of which is likely has to do with why they have yet to join their mutant brethren in Krakoa. I think that may be a typo. I don't know. I'll double check. But I have not been reading any Marvel comics recently. It's just not a lot of this stuff comes my cup of tea. There was one Thor one that looked like it was going to be freaking cool. I never ended up getting it. I wanted to get it. I even did a review for it here on the channel because I was looking forward to it, but I just never got around to getting it. But I have not read any Marvel comics recently. But it says here, actually, that's not true. I started on one with, it was Cyclops and Wolverine, but that one wasn't written recently. I bought it recently. Interestingly enough, how the teens' powers manifested is never touched on. It's also not explained in the issue why their powers are the exact same as those of major X-Men. But the secret behind this uncanny peculiarity will likely be revealed in the coming issues. Yeah, again, it just doesn't sound interesting, and it doesn't sound like it's been presented in a way that was at all interesting enough. Like, they just kind of just show up and they're all like, "Oh, we're the new old X-Men you loved. Like, we're all the same X-Men that you loved, like fan favorite characters across the board, just gender bent or, you know, representative of some culture, some minority group, some modern, you know, like activist or, you know, cosplayer. Like, everyone has, not to reference the name of another character here, but they did it to themselves, a gimmick. Everyone's got that gimmick. These guys aren't like that original either. It's like, it's everyone who among us doesn't have like 40 friends with TikToks. I don't have a TikTok. I might be your only friend without a TikTok. Like, everybody seems to have a TikTok. Is that supposed to be unique for this person? It's like, or are we just reading that because it's unique to comic book characters? Because it hasn't really been done much with comic book characters yet. I got a feeling that's not something people are going to be that interested in, frankly. In fact, the whole thing about TikTok is like, it's that all these social media apps are just playing with your dopamine, right? It's just, you're getting reward and drugs, and it's like that chemical response in your brain is just like, oh, that's funny. Haha. Oh, that's funny. Haha. Oh, that one wasn't funny. Let me go to the next one, right? It's like, it just keeps you scrolling, right? It's like the whole thing. Next, like. And so, yeah, I don't know. I'm not enthused by this, and I'm not enthused by the trailer, and almost nobody else seems to be. So if you can, let's play a game, guys. Go find me one of these, send me the screenshot, and I'll post it for you. Like, I'll put it on my Instagram in the story or something, and I'll be like, congratulations, you found a positive comment here. But I don't have the time to go through that. So anyways, if you guys want to help me out, you know, make sure to share this video if you want to just talk about it, have some fun. I've got some live comments, I think. Let me just double check that. I'm going to see if I can pull up the live comments really quick. There we go. Got some volume here. Okay, and Daniel's Hot Topics! Daniel's Hot Topics is back. Let me see if I can do this pop-out chat here. Let me pull it over here where I can see it. Helpful. All right. So Daniel's Hot Topics has got some stuff for us. Let me head back to my spaceship so I can at least show you. Actually, before I head back to the spaceship, please remember, if you guys want to help me out on my channel and just keep me going, supported, financially funded, all that stuff, because there is some costs to running all this. Like, for instance, the PG&E for all these lights. But also, like, just if you guys have, like, a couple of bucks, $11, $13, and you want to get yourself a shirt, everything's on sale right now. And I'm making this video live. It will be up later, so maybe the deal isn't there, maybe it's not. But it recurs usually once a week or a couple times a week for a few days. So it's very frequent that this is actually the price. So if you don't have it on a discount day, you can either get it for yourself that day if you want it in a timely fashion, or you can wait a little bit and keep checking back and you'll see it there. I'll post from time to time and just let you know when the deals are happening, but I've got a bunch of designs I've done myself. So like this I Stand with Gina Carano, this is the way, or Fire Kathleen Kennedy, this is the way. I've got a bunch of different designs in a bunch of different colors. I've done artwork for Ahsoka Tano, the nice lady. I've done a lot of other designs. You can go check these out. Ninja Turtles, my own logo, Miyagi-Do karate, whatever you like. And you guys can go check those out. I've got a ton of these things for you. You can see some of those examples right here. I've got this one. I've worn it in a video before. It's really fun. It's nice. You can get it in different styles. You can get it in tank tops, hoodies, sweaters, t-shirts, stickers, mugs, pins, masks, and all kinds of fun stuff. So if you want, get yourself some of that. And look, only 2 minutes left. 2 minutes. Hurry up and go get yourself something. Link in the description below so that you can get you guys something cool like this, or like this. And that's going to help me out a lot. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for everyone who's bought yourself some merch. I see it. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for also helping me hit my goal of 727 subscribers on YouTube. I'm so close. I'm 3/4 of the way to being able to make money on YouTube from YouTube. Because right now I have to take you guys off site. I have to take you guys to TeePublic in order to make any money at all on this channel. No money comes in from here. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And you guys are the best. I love being able to talk to you guys, especially my man, Daniel's Hot Topics. And by the way, brother, let me head back to the spaceship now. Happy belated birthday to Daniel's Hot Topics. My man turned, I think you said, was it 34? I think you said you turned 34 in the comments. I don't have it in front of me, but happy birthday. Even if I was wrong on the age, happy birthday, bro. I appreciate you. You're always in my comments. You're always in my live chats, and you always make my live streams so much more fun for me. I appreciate you. 3,000. And I want to get to some of your questions right now so that we can have that conversation about all of our favorite topics. And you've been so on topic. You've been keeping me aware of what's been going on out there in the world. And I check. So I'm checking these things, and you're still alerting me ahead of time when these things are coming out. So it's pretty cool. And I appreciate that you're willing to go into the realm of speculation and rumor with me, because that's also where things get really fun too. So let's get into this. All right. So I'll try to jet through these quickly. I know I always say that and it ends up turning into a 2-hour video. We're already at an hour right now. I'm going to try to get through this because I got some stuff to do tomorrow. So Daniel's Hot Topic says, OMG, hi Daniel, so happy I caught you. Did you get my message? Josh on Den of Nerds said there was a leak they got from someone on the inside that said there will be multiple Doctor Strange and Wong. And I know what you said in the comment. You said that the Daredevil universe on Netflix is a separate universe from the MCU, and that it's alternate, so that there will be a different Doctor Strange and Wong in that universe. So probably not Benedict Cumberbatch, probably not Wong, or maybe it is, maybe it's not, but I think it's probably not. I think they're going to try to keep that separate, and if they do, I'll be very happy, and I know a lot of people that will be very happy, because that way they could keep it mature. They can actually keep, and I don't want any sexual content. I don't want a lot of cussing. I don't need all that. 1 or 2 cuss words here or there is fine. But what I'm here for is some bloody action. I want to see some violence. That's what I like seeing. I'm not ashamed to say it. I know every single dude is thinking that as well. That's what people want to see, is some serious action shots, just like we got in the Daredevil series, just like we got in Punisher. It's sick. And I can't wait. I do hope that that's true. And I hope that we get to have those guys back and then get to see more people pop into that universe. Doubles even of what we already have. Captain America, Spider-Man. I don't care. Just let's get all those doubles. Maybe Andrew Garfield is going to be the one that is the Spider-Man from that Charlie Cox Daredevil universe. Oh my gosh, that would be so awesome. I'd be thrilled. I'd be over the moon. It'd be so great. So then you say here in the next one, I think I already addressed it. You said multiple Doctor Strange and Wong from alternate universe, from the multiverse in Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. There was a leak, and Josh said one of the Doctor Strange and Wong will be from there. Yes, I think that's what we talked about. Now, again, we have to take this with a grain of salt. They have been right on a couple of things. I've not followed their content that much, so I can't speak to the validity of what that claim is, but I can hope, just like anybody else. And I do hope that that is true. That would be wonderful. That would be so freaking great. I'd be so happy. And I know a lot of people that would be very happy about that exact thing. So that makes my day. I hope it's true. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Daniel's Hot Topic says they will be from the Netflix Defenders universe and John Bernthal's Punisher. Yes. I skipped ahead on that one. Yes, I think we already talked about that. Yes. I want that. Bring it on. Let that whole universe come back in an alternate universe and just start bringing in some other heroes that are doubles, different actors, though, so that it can be a little bit more grounded, a little bit more gritty, a little bit more street level action going on there. I loved what they did with that franchise. It was really cool. Iron Fist season 1 was not that great, but Iron Fist season 2 definitely made up for that, and it was really good. Let's see. Because the Netflix Defenders universe has their own versions of the Avengers and X-Men and Fantastic Four and Eternals and Celestials and Guardians of the Galaxy and everything else. That would be tight. Don't know if it's true, but that would be awesome. Daniel's Hot Topic says, I want Hugh Jackman back in the MCU. We will never accept the new Wolverine, never. Look, I think we've talked about this. I will accept another Wolverine if it is more comic book accurate than Hugh Jackman was. I will not appreciate one that is less comic book accurate than Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, because Hugh Jackman, he did such a good job playing the role of Wolverine, I think, that it made up for the fact that he was over 6 feet tall, a pretty slender, skinny frame, and for the most part, a pretty looking boy. There was a lot that was different from him than the actual Wolverine from the comics, the source material. He was so different physically that it pulled me out initially, but he made up for it with his A-list amazing performances. He performed well. I think there's going to be a lot of other people that can perform well that are also physically like what the source material is supposed to be for Wolverine. And in that case, I will accept another Wolverine. Maybe Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is actually the one that is in the Netflix verse, but we don't know, because I think they've already said that Deadpool is going to be inside the MCU, but rated R. And if that's the case, I think Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is technically already part of that universe, because they already crossed Deadpool over with the James McAvoy version of the X-Men, which is still the same universe that Hugh Jackman's from. So I think technically Hugh Jackman's going to be in the MCU, at least the Deadpool version of that. But maybe they'll want to cross him over into that TV side so they can do Deadpool, Daredevil, Spider-Man, Team Red. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe Hugh Jackman crosses into that just for fun and kicks. That'd be awesome. So anyway, I think that'd be awesome. Really, really fun. Daniel's Hot Topic says, there is a leak that says Tobey Maguire will be in Spider-Man No Way Home, but he not be from the MCU. Maguire will play the character in the MCU, a hotel owner named Mike Oxlong. If that is a real leak, I would be kind of disappointed. I mean, I'd still be thrilled to see him, but I want to see Tobey as Spider-Man again. That's the way that I want to see Tobey. Even if it's for a few seconds in an alternate reality where he's just like an older mentor, like literally into the Spider-Verse, the one that Chris Pine played. Or what's the other guy? You could either do the Chris Pine one, or you could do the guy from New Girl. Nick, is it Nick? That was his character name. I keep forgetting his real name. Anyway, but you could do one of those mentor roles for Tobey's character. I don't know. I hope that's not true. That one I hope is not true. Daniel's Hot Topic says, Daniel, guess what? Jacob, the Galaxy Man, got a new girlfriend. I wish I can share the pic with you. I do not mean to be rude, but OMG, he could have done so much better. First of all, this may come as a surprise. I don't know who Jacob the Galaxy Man is. And God bless him. I hope that you know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. And if he sees her as beautiful and he loves her and he thinks that she's great and she's attractive to him, then that's awesome. And I hope that they have all the fun in the world once they're married. Again, I'm old fashioned. So, and I am proud of that as well. So he says, Daniel, you're killing me though. It's funny though. You say about his girlfriend, you all talk about swinging low. Oh, come now. That's funny. It's funny, but I can't speak to whether or not it's true or not. I haven't seen it. I don't even know who this person is, but you get to voice your opinions because you sent that comment in, and I'm willing to read it. Daniel Topic says, also, Daniel, did you hear the news that they released a pic that shows Andrew Garfield? Yes, I did. Spider-Man hanging off Doc Ock's arm, and people are excited. It looks more and more like Spider-Verse. I did hear about that. I was thinking about covering that, but I wanted to talk about the Children of the Atom today. So I heard about it. I've not gotten a chance to really talk about it or formulate my thoughts on that, other than, dude, it totally confirms Andrew Garfield's going to be in there, unless they're being extremely cruel and teasing us with obvious signals towards what we're all wanting and thinking just to disappoint us, just like Rian Johnson did with The Last Jedi. I hope that that's not the case. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think this is totally going in the direction of a live action Spider-Verse. I think it's likely that Tom Holland is going to get kicked out of the MCU at the end of his film and stuck outside of the MCU, probably in the Sonyverse. That makes the most sense to me. And possibly the Andrew Garfield version will get kicked either into the MCU, or Andrew Garfield's going to get kicked into the Daredevil universe, if that is the case and if that is happening. That's a lot of ifs. So my own speculation, my own theory about this alleged rumor, because I haven't read it myself, I haven't seen all that stuff, I'm taking your word for it, and I do trust you that you heard these things. I just don't know. Whenever someone says leak, whenever someone says rumor, you just don't know if you can trust it. So, and it says, but it's also exciting that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield will also be in the MCU and others characters. That is cool. When Tobey and Andrew Spider-Man will go back to their universes, we get to keep the MCU versions, even though they are not Spider-Man, they are just regular people. It's still cool. Possibly. Again, when someone says leak, you have to take it with a grain of salt. We can't just assume that that's exactly what's going to happen based on the leak. We have to read the leak, accept that it's possible, but what are the odds? And also, given that it's only possible and not for sure going to happen, then we have, we got to accept, we have to consider that it may not be the case. And in fact, I would say it's more likely when someone posts about a leak, it's more likely than not true. Even if it does sound like it makes sense, we have to allow for that possibility, right? But we can still get excited about a leak. We can still get excited about rumors. We can get excited about theories and have fun talking about those things, because that's part of the fun for me. I know some people like to stick exclusively to the facts. I don't think you have to do that. Like, there's plenty of people like Overlord DVD who will tell you, okay, this is a rumor, it's someone I've heard from a source, but I cannot verify whether it's true. So take it with a grain of salt and pretend that it's not true at all, but we're just talking about this and theorizing. Now let's get into it, right? So he'll talk about that. If you have a disclaimer, hey, this is not totally legit, or it may not be legit, I don't care. Let's go ahead and talk about it. It sounds fun. But you just have to acknowledge what is or is not legit, and what is rumor, what is fact, what is fiction, right? You got to be able to discern what is what. And be very clear about that, so we don't mislead people, right? So all these possibilities, theories, rumors, leaks, alleged leaks, right? It's always alleged. Those things are some of the fun things to talk about. So that's why I appreciate when you share these things with me, because I like these, and almost nobody engages with me about these alleged things, because I think a lot of people are scared to talk about these things for fear of when those things don't happen, or if they don't happen, or if they do happen, the risk of not being accurate on those things prevents people from having fun and discussing the possibilities. But not us, not you and not me. So, and he says, Daniel, Sony is in financial trouble and they may have to sell their movie division. And if they do, Marvel Disney will get Spider-Man, Venom, Carnage, Morbius, and the rest back to Marvel, Disney, and the MCU. Dude, if Marvel gets it back, they're going to go nuts because they're also trying to figure out, okay, how strong is our financial future based on the content we have in the pipeline right now and what we have existing right now. And Disney's got a lot of controversies going on. But if Sony is possibly going to have to sell their division, you know Disney or Warner Bros. Is going to be one of the first to swoop in and get their hands all over that. I'd be shocked if like another company like Paramount or Universal tries to sweep in and pick that up. That would be very difficult. But if Universal does, they could make that content with the Hulk, right? So like the Hulk and Spider-Man, they could do stuff like that. It would be pretty crazy. But I don't know if they're going to do that. Disney will obviously be the one that's like, we got to get this back. Spider-Man is a cash cow, right? No Spider-Man film except for the animated ones make less than $700 million at the box office. So it's just cash waiting to be, waiting to be collected. And it says, and that's including Venom, by the way. It says, if Venom Let There Be Carnage does not do well, or Morbius does not do well, which they won't because of the pandemic, and no one will want to go to the movies because they are scared it will happen. I don't think people are... okay, so it depends on where you are and how much you watch the news, right? There's a lot of people out there, and I'm not saying that coronavirus isn't real. We all know it's real, but the dramatization of it by our rage-fueled media and our fear-mongering media is way over the top. It's ridiculous to me when people try to normalize germophobia, verminophobia, the fear of viruses, germs, microscopic organisms, things you can't see. It's basically like being afraid of ghosts that walk around in the day and they only attack you if you touch hands or don't wear your mask or that sort of stuff. I am of the opinion that people are becoming conditioned, trained even, to instill germophobia on their children. I think the next generation is going to be like Monk from the show Monk, and they're going to be just terrified everywhere they go. If theaters open up around us and they start playing legit movies, which there are almost no legit movies coming out right now in theaters. If they play a legit movie, I'd totally go see it. I want to get out there. I want to get out into the world like we always have been during other pandemics that they just didn't hype as much, with similar death numbers, all that stuff. Like CDC confirms the death numbers, the rates. You can go check it out. You got to learn how to read statistics. But if you do that, you'll find, oh my gosh, like we've lived through worse. It's just, we haven't lived through harsher propaganda regarding this. The politicization of this virus is what the real scare has been all about. It's been for politics. Like, why do you think the government hasn't relinquished California's rights to just go back to church, or like bars can be open, churches can't. People can eat in restaurants at a higher capacity than you can attend church sitting down in the same spot. Like social distance, whatever. It's like the hypocrisy and the double standards that exist out here are ridiculous. It's crazy. And I don't want to condemn anybody for being afraid, but if you're living in fear, I know that you're the one that's suffering. And so that's something that should not be a burden on your soul. That's not something that should be a burden on your mind, your heart. When you go around outside in day-to-day life, you should not be terrified. You should not be concerned about these things to the degree that it actually weighs on you. If it keeps you up at night, if it's the boogeyman to you that you're like, I'm going to get sick, I'm going to get sick, I'm going to get sick, I'm going to get sick. That's not normal. That's not something that should be your normal, because that is going to raise your stress levels and that will make you sick more than just getting out there and saying hi to people, even shaking hands. Honestly, like it's not something that what gets you sick is having those heightened stress levels, walking around in fear. That's actually something that has been known to be detrimental to your health and your immune system. So yeah, I think people are just being conditioned for sickness. And that's my theory, and it's just a theory. And I totally know everyone's going to disagree with that, but it's my own. So my opinion. Daniel's Hot Topic says, did you hear there will be a third wave of coronavirus, and this third wave will be worse, I hear. So I think no one will go to the movies coming October or January. So the chances of Sony losing money, Sony will lose money. In fact, almost every movie making company is losing money right now unless they are completely independent and getting their funding from an alternate means besides the theater. But these companies are so used to making, millions, hundreds of millions, $1 billion, $2 billion at the box office. That's money they cannot get through streaming. Like they're getting a lot of money through streaming. But what happened with Mulan, and the way that Disney Plus kind of like, you may say misled. They didn't really mislead people, but it was like for us who bought Mulan for that premiere access, and then it was literally given at the same price, but with more content to other platforms that were not the loyal subscription base on Disney Plus. It's like, dude, why am I even subscribed? Right? It's like people just got turned off. People are like, I'm not going to do this again. No one's going to buy any films on, well, I'm not going to say no one. A lot of people, majority of people have learned the lesson already, and people are telling people, hey, don't buy it on Premiere Access unless you're going to do like a watch party with like 50 people. Then you can pay early access, everyone can see it, and you just divide it so you only pay a couple bucks. So people are starting to do that already. People are sharing accounts instead of having multiple, people having their own accounts. So you're not paying more money. It's people are getting wise to it, and that means that Disney's making less and less and less and less, and it's only going to continue to trend downward. I think. I could be wrong, but yeah. And I don't know that coronavirus is going to be the reason for that. We're already in most places locked down. If they continue to politicize it and try to just take us basically into full communism and just say no one can leave their house, you have to stand in line just to get into, well, I guess they are making us stand in line to get into like Target or whatever. But like if they're like, implementing social classes, like if you got the vaccine, then you can enter the bank. If you don't have it, you can't enter the bank and you can't do your banking, right? It's like that kind of stuff that's how China operates. That's communism outright. They get to determine to your level of obedience and participation to the government, even to minutia, your social media, things that you say, things that you think, your opinions, your theories, what you purchase, how rich you are, right? Like these kinds of things will affect your ability to participate in the culture, in society, in the public square, what you can speak before being jailed, right? Like that kind of stuff. If wave 3 of coronavirus is just going to get politicized to that degree and we end up getting locked down more than we are here in California, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty at all. I hope they don't try that. I hope that doesn't go. There's a lot of people that are going to be really like vicious towards their neighbors, towards people around them for those reasons. I hope it's not the case. I hope people are a little bit more sane than that, where they start committing acts of violence. They already have, I guess, but like if you see someone walking around without a mask, for instance, and then you lose your mind and you start like berating them or attacking them, you're the psycho, not the person wearing the mask. And I'm not saying you, Daniel, obviously, but like, the person in the store, like my wife got yelled at Target because she had it had fallen below her nose, and some lady yelled at her in front of our kids. So my wife yelled at her back, and the lady wanted to get violent, and my wife ended up walking away, but she was super frazzled by the whole experience. And it's like, dude, people are nuts, but I think it's because they're germophobic. I think it's because they're being conditioned to be terrified of something they can't even see, a virus, right? And it's like, they're like one mask, wear your mask everywhere you go. And now the whole thing is 2 masks. You have to double mask because 1 mask isn't good enough. It's like, if it wasn't good enough this whole time, why were you recommending it? In fact, why were you mandating it if 1 mask wasn't enough? And if you knew that, why'd you wait till now to do that? Is it because we now have to have an even bigger scare, more fear? It's like, there's always going to be another virus. In fact, we've always had coronaviruses. Coronaviruses have been around for decades. As far as I'm aware, SARS, bird flu, all these things are coronaviruses. We just started hearing about it because the media started talking about it. It already existed. COVID-19 is the new strain of it. There's going to be new strains and new strains and new strains. It'll always have a new strain. But they're going to tell you it's the 3rd wave, it's the next big thing, it's the biggest. Oh no, we should be afraid. If we want to be afraid of something, we will. If we want to be not afraid of something, just turn off the TV, right? And it's like, you don't have to listen to everything that they tell us. We can have fun on our own. Like, we can do our own thing. I can be responsible for my own health and wellness and my safety and my family and my income and all these things. I can be in control of that, and then they can live their life, but they don't want that. They want to be in control of us. That's my opinion on that. I do think you're right about Sony. I think that it is going to lose money, but I think everybody in the film industry is losing money right now. It's across the board. Everyone's losing money. And they're going to have to open up the economy if they want to start getting their money back. So if Sony doesn't want to sell their movies, they're probably going to have to start contributing to, and unfortunately, we call it a narrative, but like I call it a narrative of normalcy. We have to get back to being open so that people can work, so that people can live, so that people can spend money, and then the dollars will circulate, and then people will stop being afraid once they get their toes back into the warm water and they're like, hey, I guess it's not that bad and we're not all dying. So we can go back. 99.999% survival rate for people under 65 or whatever it is. And then even at 65, it's still like 99.9, and that's with comorbidities, right? So it's like you have it's called an irrational fear for a reason. It is irrational. If they report on all of the ones that just were the worst cases ever, and that's all you hear about, you're going to think all the cases are really, really bad, but they just don't report to you the ones where people got it, didn't even realize they got it, or they got it and they're like, hey doc, I think I got this. And they're like, oh, it's basically a bad flu. Just, get some sleep, drink some water, you'll be fine. And that was most people that happened to. It was just flu season, what it was. And so I don't know. I've got my own theories. I can rant about it forever. Sorry for if you guys are still if you guys are still afraid of going outside. I'm not trying to change how you live your life. I'm just trying to share my opinion on why I think if Sony wants to stay in business of making films, there should be a push towards getting people back into the economy, working, spending money. They're not going to spend money if they're not working, right? They're going to hold that money because there's no income. They need to work, and then they'll spend. If they work, they can grow, they can spend. And so that's what will happen. So if that doesn't happen and they push for wave 3, COVID, everyone's scared, then it's just going to get worse and Sony's going to have to sell. And that might be a good thing for Disney, but Disney's been on my radar lately. Like, Disney has been very upsetting to me because of their decisions, their business decisions. Gina Carano, I don't give a rip. I full on stand with Gina Carano. She said nothing wrong. She was not in any way anti-Semitic. She was not in any way transphobic. She was not in any way any of those things. It was bullies online who claimed to be advocating for the trans movement were bullying her first. They continued that for a very, very long time, since September. And then Gina reposted something someone else posted, which was facts about before the H event of WW2, before that time period. And it wasn't about right or left. It was about all sides hating each other. She was saying we all right and left need to stop hating each other for our views. And that's what Disney used as an excuse to slander her, completely lie about what she said. Send that to the news, and the news printed articles that were about lies. She never said Republican. She never said even about the time period for the H event in WW2. You guys know what I'm talking about? It was before that, and it was about the tactics that were used to get to that point before it ever happened. And she was saying propaganda is being used to make us hate each other. We need to stop hating each other. How is it different? How is what happened then different than what's happening now, where we are hating each other for our political beliefs? We got to be able to respect one another's opinions, even if we disagree, right? That's what she was saying. It wasn't about right or left. And they all lied, and they got her fired. And I'm pretty upset about that. So I try to stay positive, but I stand with Gina Carano, and I don't think Kathleen Kennedy should be canceled. She should be fired, though, because she's incompetent. Solo lost money. She's mishandled every single film that has happened under her jurisdiction has had issues. Every single film, including Rogue One, which I love. I love Rogue One, but it had issues. She had a revolving door of directors and writers that have come and gone multiple times, and she just can't get people on board with her vision. She's not a creative storyteller. She's a producer. So she should not have creative control. That should be Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, people who actually know Star Wars, all this kind of stuff. I rant all the time. That's a topic for a different video, but I am in a spaceship, so I guess I'm on my way to talk about it. Forgot I was in the spaceship, dang it. And then let's see. My eyes are starting to hurt from all the lights. I apologize. Whenever I get on a video for an hour and a half, I've got my glasses on, it's magnified light. Bothers my eyes. So, let's see. Where was I? Spider-Man. Daniel Cell Topic says, Spider-Man. Tom Holland shares a shredded selfie from No Way Home set. From the No Way Home set, Tom Holland shows off his shredded physique in his selfie while filming Marvel Studios and Sony Pictures Spider-Man No Way Home. That's cool. I don't mind, like, when superheroes get fit, get ripped, or jacked for a superhero role, that makes me very proud of that person. When someone, because they care about the role, they care about the look of the role, and to me, that means a lot. Like, I'm an aesthetically driven guy. I want to see that people who are playing Batman look like Batman or make an effort to behave or look or walk or talk or try to emulate Batman as closely as possible, and that the costume looks sick and it looks accurate, right? I want accuracy. It can be original. It can be distinct from the other ones, but it has to feel like Batman to me, or it has to feel like Spider-Man to me. And I always felt like Tom Holland felt a little bit small, and he was young when he started, but I always wanted, and I know he was supposed to be in high school because that's what the character was being written for. He's out of high school soon. I don't know if he is in this next film or not. I think he is, right? Didn't he graduate this last film? I do not recall if he graduated or if he's going into his senior year or something. But he's getting close to that character age of manhood, and he should feel a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, bulkier. I think. I don't think he should be small, tiny, compact for very long. I think he should try to bulk up a little bit and look jacked, I would like. So I haven't seen that photo, but I appreciate the fact that he made that photo or took that photo showing his effort, because that's something that I'm pissed about Robert Pattinson not giving two rips about. Robert Pattinson not wanting to do, even hating on his co-stars for working out for their role. I think he's dumb. Is he a good actor? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe he is. People seem to like him a lot. A lot of people don't like him. I don't have any preference for him. I didn't see the Twilight films. I don't even know if I've seen a film with him in it. So I don't really have a reference for it. But what I know about him, based on his work ethic that we've heard from him, He signed up to play Batman, doesn't give a rip to work out. So to me, it's like, dude, I don't like your attitude, right? So in that case, Tom Holland is up here, way above where my camera cuts off right there, and then Robert Pattinson's down here. So like, I appreciate Tom Holland doing that. Next up, we have yesterday was the final day of filming for Spider-Man Far From Home. Do you like, you mean like an anniversary, or do you mean the final day from shooting for Spider-Man No Way Home? I don't know if that was a typo. Daniel's topic says, boo. Oh, you say boo. Pierce Brosnan will be Dr. Fate in the DCU. I wanted Pierce Brosnan to be in the MCU. Why did he pick the DCEU? I wanted James Bond in the MCU. That would have been great. You know what? I think he would be a really good choice for Dr. Fate. I am a fan of DC. I am a fan of the DCEU, even though it has had its struggles. They're starting to have a little bit of a boon right now because the Snyder Cut was in my opinion, was a large success. I think the Snyder Cut did, and I'm not giving a pun, it's just a word. It did a lot of justice for not just the fans, but for the content that was created with Justice League, what was supposed to happen. And now the trending hashtag, not that hashtags determine everything, but they sometimes have an impact, is restore the Snyderverse. And so if the Snyderverse, which was supposed to be the DCEU canon, formal canon, that was taken away, they've allowed Snyder to do a one-off, officially speaking, that is supposed to be it. There's not supposed to be anything after that, but there has been talk. There's been talk about him coming back and doing a sequel to the Snyder Cut so that he can at least continue his story in a separate timeline. But people are now asking to just restore the Snyder Cut as canon and basically make the Whedon version non-canon. So all the other films and stuff can still be Snyder canon because they're all individual. Shazam took place on its own. Cavill's Superman from the neck down was there, but it wasn't Cavill, it was a stunt guy. So like they didn't integrate the story with Man of Steel, only that he was alive, and that's not a problem, right? Like there's nothing that would contradict, in my opinion, bringing the Snyderverse into canon again and then decanonizing the Joss Whedon cut. To me, there's no problem with that. Logistically, you just have to make that decision and then just hope that the YouTube channels take care of training the fans to tell the other friends who don't watch those channels about what's going on. Because yes, it's a little convoluted, but guess what? So was the Whedon cut. And frankly, I think it'd be the right call. So who knows? We might get to see that. And Pierce Brosnan would be a great addition to the MCU. But keep in mind, being in the DCU does not prevent you from being in the MCU. Just because it's a rival studio or a rival property or a comic book role from a rival company, legally speaking, they cannot prevent you from working for both companies. It's been done by many actors. Idris Elba, for one. I mean, I know that he waited until his character was dead in Thor, but even still, plenty of people have gone and crossed the line from MCU to DCEU. Zachary Levi was in Thor and also is now Shazam. You know, lots of people have done that, and there will be many more in the years to come. But I think that Pierce Brosnan would be really cool as Dr. Fate. So I'm actually celebrating that one. The thing is, if you want him to be in the MCU, tell me who you want him to play, right? Propose somebody for him to play, and then we'll talk, right? Like, do you want him to be Magneto? Who do you want him to play, right? So give me a role you want me to get excited about, because other than that, I'm excited about him playing Dr. Fate. If there's a better role for him in the MCU, we can talk about that. Maybe he can do both. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it'd be really cool. So anyways, reading a comment right now from Daniel's Hot Topics, it says, so anyways, there are rumors coming from the set of Thor Love and Thunder that since Wanda will break the multiverse, there will be cracks in the multiverse. Alternate versions of Thor will fall into the alternate version of Thor. Will fall into the MCU, and Thor and Gore the God Butcher will kill most, if not all of them. And it makes sense because Wanda will break the multiverse. that sounds like that rumor, and again, it's a rumor, not a fact, but rumor, it does sound really interesting. And I don't know how much Thor Love and Thunder is going to delve into alternate universe. I actually hope that Thor Love and Thunder does not delve too much into the multiverse, although it very well could. I hope that in Thor Love and Thunder, they kind of keep to their own, like the 9 realms. It's very Thor oriented. It's not trying to delve too hard into what's going on in the other films and franchises outside of maybe a reference or two and possibly an end credit sequence that does allow for that connectivity. But I hope that for the most part, it's on its own. I want it to be in the timeline. I want it to have some connectivity, but I want the story to be its own track. To me, that's the best case scenario because we can just focus on it. So when we watch Thor 1, then we watch Thor 2, then we watch Thor 3, then we watch Thor 4, that will feel like I want that to feel like a continuum, like where I'm just watching that franchise, right? It's all part of the MCU, and the MCU is a continuity of stories, not necessarily sequential, but stories connected. And there is a chronological timeline for it, which is not the order that it was released, but I can also go back and watch the Captain America 1 and 2, and that feels like it's just Captain America 1 and 2. If I watch Captain America 1, 2, and 3, now we're getting into some other stuff that involves the Avengers, and I love Civil War. It's probably one of my favorite films in the MCU overall, but it does start to bleed into, okay, this is no longer just a Captain America trilogy. It's bigger than Captain America at this point. I like how Thor 1 and Thor 2 felt very much on their own, minus the SHIELD involvement for Thor 1, which I love. I love that part. But it was, it felt like a Thor franchise. I want a lot of these major characters' stories to be, they can have tertiary involvement. SHIELD can be there. There can be connective tissue to the MCU. Another character might make an appearance on a phone call or something, like how in Spider-Man Far From Home, or like we get, references to other people. The Skrulls do show up. It's like we get these connective pieces. However, it's still part of Spider-Man's story, or it's still part of Captain America's story, or Iron Man's story. Iron Man 1, 2, and 3, there is a little bit of a gap from 2 to 3 that feels a little different, but Iron Man 1 and 2 definitely feel like movie sequel. It's not like you have to go and watch a billion other films to do that. They were made much closer together, I already know, but at the same time, I hope that Thor Love and Thunder doesn't lose the fact that it's a Thor movie. I hope that it does try to give us a Thor story that nobody else could tell. That it's definitely something that is Thor. It's very Thor rooted. It's Thor mythology. It's his story. That's what I want. And yeah, that's about it. So that is all the comments we have for today. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys watch all the way through to the end, you're a legend, and I appreciate you. You guys are beasts. Thank you for tolerating all of my opinions and these rumors and speculations and theories. It's a lot of fun for me. Thank you, Daniel Hot Topics, for submitting all of these questions and these topics, because that's what makes this part of the video so much fun for me, is just being able to hang out with you and discuss. And again, one more time, if you guys can bear with me, if you guys want to get some sick merch, make sure to click the link in the description below so you can get yourself something fun, either a t-shirt. Right now, everything's still or I think maybe if I refresh this page, it's probably not discounted, but either way, you guys will be able to get your t-shirts, mugs, hoodies, stickers, pins, crew neck sweaters, long sleeve t-shirts, tank tops, magnets, phone cases, laptop cases, onesies, pillows, notebooks, tapestries, pins, wall art, posters, etc. You can get all these different merch items for I Stand With Gina Carano, This Is The Way, or you can get the Fire Kathleen Kennedy, This Is The Way shirt, or any kind of design on any kind of these products. So thank you guys so much. This does help fund my channel, help me get upgrades for my setup, my studio, so that I can make better content for you guys. I am trying right now to rework my garage setup, which is why there's a few things that I've been trying to do in the background. I've been on vacation for a week. Been a lot of things that have prevented me from making more videos, but I'm back. I'm trying to get back into making more videos for you, 1 to 2 videos every single week if I can. And I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. And I hope you have a great rest of your day or night, wherever you are when you're watching this. Stay tuned for more right here on The Stuff of Legend. Hey guys, D-Lo here. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And remember to share this video with all of your nerd friends. I know you got them, and you know who they are. Leave a comment below and let me know what you thought about this discussion. Let me know what you would like to see me do a video on next. Subscribe to the channel because you're a legend, and we have that in common. Also be sure to turn on notifications to be notified right away when I upload my next video, or so that you can be alerted when I go live next time. That way you'll never miss a thing. Check out the other videos on the channel so that we can have a discussion on all your favorite movies and TV topics. Thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more right here on The Stuff of Legend.